Hello, dear students. I am Kefyalew Tadesse, instructor of Project Analysis and Evaluation course. This is the basic course designed for Masters of Business Administration in Finance students. It has 3 credit hours and 7 chapters. So I hope you are going to use these videos as much as possible, and I am going to load also further videos upon your request, or if other platforms are prepared. Before I proceed with the project, let me pose a question. What do you think is a project? What are the basic features of a project? Please try to answer these questions for yourself before you go for the lectures. Having said this, let me directly go to the first chapter. The first chapter is about the overview or introduction to the project and project in the development context. So let us directly go to the introduction part of this course, which is what project is. As you may know, project exists in every sphere of business, NGOs, markets, public organizations, and so forth. This means that project is applied in every organization, whether that organization is for business or for profit, or whether it is humanitarian, or whether it is government oriented organization. So this indicates that project is a very important tool just to achieve a given special objective. The projects come in different sizes, in different complexities that may range from very small initiatives to a very large mega projects which require billions of dollars. And when we go to the characteristics of a project is normally temporary endeavor. This means that projects are designed to achieve a specific special objective. This means that they are not necessarily routine activities. They are designed just to achieve some objectives, and then upon the achievement of those objectives, they cease to exist. The other thing is they are designed to add value. In fact, a given organization can have operations which are ongoing or routine activities that exist as long as that organization exists. But projects, as I said, are designed to achieve some objectives, and then upon the achievement of that objective, they cease to exist. They just discontinue. Therefore, in line with this, they are value adding activities. The other issue is, of course, they have their own purpose, and particularly projects are designed to solve a problem or to make use of a given opportunity that has been created, that has existed in the environment. Therefore, just to solve a given problem, societal problem or organizational problem, you may design projects, or just to make use of a given advantage, to make use of a given created existing opportunity, you may design a project, it means. And in the project, another feature is the sequence of activities are there. The activities are logically arranged, they are interrelated, so that the entire project activities will be achieved. It means just until the uh, desired outcome is obtained, those activities are logically arranged and then or logically and sequentially brought together so that one can achieve its objective. Therefore, in general, we can say that projects are a means to respond to those maybe requests that cannot be addressed with organizational routines. That means, or using normal operations of the organization. So, this makes it, of course, unique, and even sometimes it is called no two projects are the same, meaning that each and every project is unique to me. It helps to identify the a new organization risk areas, enabling management to develop and implement the timely risk management strategies. It commits a given organization to mobilize resources that the project uses, including human resource, material, information, time, and so forth, to carry out the activities of a given project. And a given project has its own scope also. The extent of, based on the extent of the problem or the existing opportunity that the project needs to address. And again, project has its own organizational setup, which is not necessarily accommodated by the uh, normal organizational structure of the existing or the organization which is applying that project. Therefore, it has its own project organization, it means, and then upon the implementation of that project, again, that organization ceases to exist. This means the project organization is established with the objective of just achieving that project activities. And of course, as far as a project is concerned, there are some constraints over which the achievement of that project activities will be achievement of that project activities will be constrained, will be limited. That is time, meaning that time is, of course, a precious resource. Therefore, project application is bounded by time, it means. So, from this, we can say that project has its own duration, time, meaning it has its own starting and ending time. The other is cost. The issue of cost is another issue, the other factor that makes a given project maybe worthy uh, from the point of view of its benefits, meaning that a given project has to just bring about its benefits, and those benefits should be compared against the cost, so that we can say that the project is better better off, it is value for money and so forth, we can say, meaning that anyways a given project requires costs, and then those costs come in the form of human resource related costs, financial related costs, material related costs, and so forth. Therefore, anyways, these things constrain a given project. The other is quality issues. Therefore, again, the project outcomes should be of quality required, so that if that project really is of quality, and if the outcomes are achieved within the quality limits, within the standards, we can say that the beneficiaries will be efficiently benefiting out of it. And then, of course, again, that project application should be within the quality standards. The outcome should be within the quality standards. And ultimately, the project should introduce change. There should be change. If the project, after it has been implemented, nothing has been changed, no problem is solved. If no existing opportunity is utilized, not utilized, it means that the project implementation is said to be not achieving its goal. Therefore, a project is often used as an instrument for change, change for the betterment of the society's life. It could be for the betterment of the organizational objective or purposes and so forth. Anyways, when we go to the classification of projects, projects range in size, in scope, in the cost they consume, in the time they are applied in, from mega, which are international projects costing millions of dollars over many years, or which are applied, uh, which have their own long time span, to very small domestic projects with low budget, which are implemented within short time, and so forth. Therefore, there are different ranges of projects. It means from the reference of the size, scope, cost, and so forth. So, on the basis of time, we can classify projects as short term or long term or long time span. On the basis of type of the project, projects could be goods producing projects or service delivering projects, or again, projects can be classified based on scope, starting from maybe regional, national, or international projects. From the size, again, projects are classified as large, medium, or small scale projects. On the basis of sector, again, projects are classified maybe related to industrial projects, it could be, or manufacturing projects, or it could be uh, labor intensive projects, it could be agricultural oriented projects, it could be for instance projects involving uh, mining, involving energy generation, and so forth. Projects can be also classified based on technology, maybe labor intensive or capital intensive projects. Based on ownership, again, projects can be classified as private, public, joint venture, cooperatives, NGOs, and so forth. Therefore, we can say that in one hand, different bases of classifications are there for a given project, and at the same time, these bases of classifications are not mutually exclusive, meaning that a given project can be at the same time small and privately owned project, and at the same time labor intensive, and so forth. Therefore, these bases of classifications are not mutually exclusive, it means. Therefore, in general, the key points are these categories are not necessarily mutually exclusive, as I said. Many projects will include aspects of two or more of the basis of classifications mentioned. So, when we go to the other issues of project, before I proceed with the next parts of the project introduction. How do you differentiate between programs and the projects? Are they interrelated? Again, what's the difference between projects and operational issues? I hope you shall try to answer yourself these things before again you go for the videos. Let us start from the projects versus programs. Project is simply a group of activities designed to produce a project purpose in a fixed time frame, as we tried to indicate. So project has its own activities, sub-activities, tasks, and so forth, just to achieve a given project purpose. When we come to the program is a series of projects, meaning that a given program has two or more projects, it means. So it is a series of projects whose activities together contribute toward this common overall objective. At a sector it could be, at community or even multi-country level. Therefore, project is subset of a program, it means. A single program comprises many projects, it means. So a program is an assortment of related or associated projects that are managed together to achieve a number of objectives. Again, programs may also contain elements of ongoing operation, it means. Because when it comprises many projects, it means that just carrying out those projects could be some sort of ongoing activity. Since programs comprise multiple projects, so that we can say programs are broader than projects, it means. Therefore, projects could be, or projects support a given country's policy objectives, supports national strategies, addresses relevant problems of the recipients or the beneficiaries. They have feasible, achievable objectives, and the benefits are likely, or the benefits of the projects are likely to be sustainable. Therefore, these things are there. Again, we can just compare and contrast projects and programs in a very maybe organized and structured way. In terms of scope, projects are narrow, while programs are wide, and they can comprise many projects as a component. In terms of detailness, projects are specific, while program is comprehensive and general. In terms of objectives, the projects are more precise objectives, accurate, measurable objectives, while programs have broader, general goals related to sectoral policy, and they may be difficult to measure or quantify. Projects, in terms of the costs and the return, the project costs and the returns are possibly calculated, possibly quantified, as I tried to indicate, but the program's costs and the returns are difficult to quantify, difficult to measure. For instance, water sector programs could be taken as, as an example, and this is water program or water sector program. Under water sector program, there might be many projects. It could be water supply, sanitation program, irrigation, hydroelectric development projects, and so forth. And even under a single sub program, there might be many projects. For example, in another context, hydroelectric development could be a program. And under this program, many projects could be there. Say, for example, dam construction of Gilgal Gibe 1, 2, 3, Renaissance Dam, and so forth. These are projects under the Hydroelectric Development Program, which we tried to indicate. The other issue that we have to compare and contrast is project versus operations. As I tried to indicate, projects are unique, meaning that they have their own purpose, they have their own time over which they are applied, they have their own beneficiaries, costs, and quality, as well as scope constraints, meaning that upon accomplishment of that project objectives, they cease to exist, they stop. But at the same time, a given organization can have routines, meaning that the activities that the organization carries out as long as that organization exists. These are operations. Therefore, how projects and operations are differentiated will be our next concern. So organizations, we can say organizations perform two types of work, it means, at a time. One is project work, and the other is operational work. When we say project work, as I tried to indicate, a given organization can have a given initiative, project initiative, just to solve the problem it is facing or to make use of the opportunity that existed in the environment. So, you see, other than the routine activities that the organization carries out, the organization can develop such unique, such non-routine activities under the project. Therefore, a given organization can have some project work and operational work, it means. So operations are, or operational works are, ongoing and repetitive, that exists as long as the organization exists. For example, a given manufacturing organization continues to manufacture as far as that organization exists. If you take Ambu Mineral Water just manufactures, produces mineral waters within its capacity, just referring to the existing market demand. Therefore, this activity repeats itself as long as that organization exists. Therefore, this is ongoing activity. This is operation, it means. But at the same time, projects could be there. Projects are what? Temporary and unique, as we said. For instance, Ambo Mineral Water can at the same time run a given construction or expansion project. This means the mineral water tries to just initiate a given project which makes that organization broader in scope. And then to achieve that objective and to solve its current problem, it can initiate that expansion project, and then upon the completion of that expansion, that project ceases to exist. That organization does not expand its capacity every year as long as it exists, but using some project ideas, some project initiatives, it can just expand, and then upon the completion of that project, we can say that the project is said to cease or stop. Therefore, it is not something that exists as long as the organization exists. So this is the difference between the two. Therefore, operational works exist as long as that organization exists. But in the meantime, the organization can have some project activities, project works, which temporarily exist and then cease upon the accomplishment of that project objectives. The other issue is the purpose of project is to attain its objectives and then to terminate, it means shortly. So project is not necessarily routine, not always continuous, it means. Whereas the objectives of ongoing operation is to sustain the business. This is the difference between the two. The purpose of project is just to attain some unique objectives and then to terminate. Just to solve a given problem, to achieve a given opportunity, to exploit a given opportunity. Then after accomplishing that, it terminates. But as long as a given organization exists, just to sustain that organization, there should be ongoing operations. Therefore, operational works are there, it means. Therefore, let us again compare and contrast between the two in a very structured way. The purpose of project is to attain objectives and then terminate. But the purpose of operations is to sustain the organization. The time span for a project is temporary, but the time span for operations is ongoing, which is indefinite. No time limit. Up to this year, no, nothing is there as to the time when it stops. The outcome of a project is unique product, service, or some specific results. But the outcome of operation is non-unique product, service, result. Therefore, it exists as far as that organization exists, and then it depends upon the outcome that organization seeks. The people in the project is, or the people or the organization of the project is dynamic. Temporary teams are established until that project is implemented. They are formed to meet project needs, generally not aligned with the organizational structure in the case of project. But in the case of operation, functional teams are established, generally aligned with the organizational structure of the entity we are considering. Authorities or management in the case of project is it, it, they vary actually. The authority varies by the organizational structure and generally minimal, if any, direct line of authority exists in the case of projects. Therefore, it is not necessarily official authority which is aligned with organizational structure, but it means that in the way it is suitable to that project, authority or line of management could be established in the way it can facilitate the project activity. But when we come to the operation, the authority or manager is generally formal, official, direct line of authority, chain of command is there. This is the difference between the two. So far we have been discussing the project in general. The issue is now, what is project management? So, project management, as any area of management, is discipline of planning, organizing, securing, and managing resources to achieve project objectives. Therefore, it is simply application of management in achieving project objectives. Because we have been discussing project, so when it comes to the management issue, just to achieve those desired objectives, to achieve the project outcomes successfully, just planning, organizing different resources, staffing, then controlling and coordinating the project activities with the objective of achieving that project outcomes. This is what we call simply project management. So we can also say that project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to produce activities to meet project activities to meet project requirements and objectives. Therefore, it is simply the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques needed for a project. Ultimately, to achieve what? Project objective. Therefore, just to achieve our desired objective, just the application of the management principle, management skills, management attitudes is said to be project management. Again, the key features include identifying what is needed to be achieved. Therefore, as a manager, as a project manager, we have to identify what is needed to be achieved. Maybe just solved problem could be what we want to achieve, or exploited opportunity could be what we want to achieve. And addressing needs, concerns, and expectation of the beneficiaries is another issue. Because just identifying what we achieve alone is not sufficient, but just addressing those needs, addressing the problems, the concerns, and the expectations of the beneficiaries is another issue. Therefore, in doing so, there are some constraints as we tried to indicate earlier. There are constraining factors. Time is a constraint. That problem needs to be solved within its time limit. For this, again, there is cost issue, cost consideration, another constraint. It shouldn't be, the cost shouldn't be too much, because if the cost is unaffordable, the problem is not solved, because no one affords that cost and then goes for achievement of those uh, project objectives. And the scope, these things, depending upon the time we need or time we have and the cost we afford, the scope could be determined. The scope of the project could be affected. And at the center of this is the quality issue, of course. With what level of quality the project outcomes are achieved will be another issue. Therefore, these are the constraints of project: time, cost, and scope. The other issue is issue uh, of, again, project management. As you may know, more than 20% of the global economic activity is accomplished using projects. Even for the developing countries, this goes to up to 40%. 40% of total economic activity of the developing countries will be accomplished using projects. Therefore, effective management of projects is just a matter of concern, a matter of necessity, and critical to the competitive position of a given organization and societies. The other issue is, so what are of course, these things will be discussed in the subsequent chapters. Overview of project life cycle. Therefore, project has its own life cycle. Uh, Life cycle means just a stage through which the project passes from its inception to completion. So these things will be discussed later. And in a continuous process, or a project as a continuous process is made up of separate stages, each stage having its own characteristics, and complementary stages are also there. Each and every stage of projects are just complementary to one another. They are not contradictory, or they are not competing one another, but they complement one another. Each phase of project just complement one another, and each setting ground for the next one. Meaning that, for example, if we take a given house construction project, the foundation could be a given stage of that project or a given milestone. Just accomplishment of the foundation is the very important condition for the next stage, which is erecting structure or walling or roofing and so forth. Therefore, project stages are complementary to one another, and these things will be discussed in the subsequent chapters. This is all about the first chapter briefly, and I hope you got some important points out of this. And at the same time, based on this, you can extend your scope of knowledge by reading more, by exercising, by just doing your assignments, your group works, and so forth. Thank you very much. Stay blessed. This is all.